Hey guys, how's everyone doing? Pat here from Card Collector HQ, back with another video, and this is part 2 of our mini series of the best young guns to invest in. In the part 1, I explained a little bit the thought process behind it, and then we went to eBay, check out some comps from the years 2005 all the way to 2014. So if you haven't checked it out, please do so. I'm gonna put a link up there and you can come back to this video later. Today we're going back to the screen, back to the computer, and look at the comps for the best young guns starting at 2014-15 season all the way to now. So let's get to it. Moving on to the next one, and that is the big one for Leon Draisaitl. So I was talking about Malkin being the best number 2 behind Crosby. Well, I think the next one is Draisaitl behind McDavid. As you can see, his raw young gun card is going to set you back, you know, $400, something like that. And then you've got Bo Horvat. That's all the way up there, also in the 200s. You've got his canvas here. Vasilevsky in Tampa Bay, and then there's a kind of a big drop, kind of cut in half in prices here. So Vasilevsky, I'd say the third big guy in that season, and Darnell Nurse also up there. That's kind of pricey for Darnell Nurse. Is he going to break out even more than he already did? So maybe, but once again, it's a defenseman. I mean, if you remember, we saw Carlson, Doughty, who else that we saw earlier. Anyway, so pretty good defensemen, established ones that were in the $30 range, and then you've got Darnell Nurse around $100. So I don't know, I guess interesting. Jordan Binnington in St. Louis, also, you know, he got the cup, so in the $75-80. And then you've got Johnny Gaudreau also up there. His card value kind of went down a little bit during the last few seasons because he's not as hyped and as good as he was at the start, but still pretty decent player, obviously. Pretty popular one. Jonathan Drouin also up there. Who knows what's going to happen with him, right? He's not played with the Habs for a few weeks now. So that it will be interesting to follow up. Also, can he break out somewhere else? I don't know. All right. 15-16. So the year when it all went crazy in hockey, there was really a big raise in popularity in the hobby for hockey cards during that season. It's because of this guy here, Connor McDavid. So this is not the regular young gun that we're looking for. It's from a later product, buyback gold auto. So that's not the same thing, but we just go down a little bit and then you can see the raw card at, you know, in the 1500s, in that range here. So not quite the Crosby or Ovechkin price that we saw earlier, but it's pretty close, pretty on par, and goes down quickly. Wow, nice deal. Okay, there was an error on this one. I was thinking, all right, that's almost a third of the price. One of the big, the second one was Jack Eichel. Really curious to see what happens with this guy during the off season. A lot of rumors that he wants out of Buffalo. That will be interesting. If he gets traded to a big team, a big popular team like Toronto or Philadelphia or the Rangers, watch out for his card prices. I think there's nice potential here, but there's a lot of talks with Columbus and Anaheim. So if he goes to another bottom feeder team, I don't see it being a lot different than these cards that you can see. And I mean, it's not bad. It's all around 100, 150, but still, I think it's a pretty good player. He still has a bit of stuff to prove, but still. All right, next one will be Artemi Panarin. And now in the Big Apple, Panarin in the 100s. Rantanen playing with McKinnon in Colorado was also a big name. Matt Murray. So some pretty decent cards. The Canvas too are up there. Matt Murray. And I think that kind of wraps up. Maybe you can go a little deeper, but that's always the same guys in the $50 to $70. And then see here, you've got a Sebastian Aho, but clearly it's not a 15-16 rookie card. We'll see him in a bit. All right, moving on, 16-17. And there, do you recognize the design from the Sebastian Aho that we just saw? So we're going to see that guy pretty soon, I'm sure. So Austin Matthews in Toronto, that is the big guy to go for. That's actually a year that is pretty good for the Maple Leafs fans out there, because there's Matthews, but there's also Mitch Marner, as you can see right there, just underneath. Much more affordable than the Matthews. As you can see, you got two cards for almost the price of a Matthews, but pretty interesting year for the Maple Leafs. And he's pretty much the number 2 guy you want to get in that season. We just saw Barzal. I think we're gonna see him again. So I'm just skipping quickly over the clear cut and buybacks and all these kinds of stuff. So Matt Barzal in their 100-120 range there again. Patrick Laine, pretty sure his cars were a lot more expensive a few years back when it got out. But now that he got traded to Columbus, not playing up to the expectation, I'd say. Hopefully he can get it around, and then we can see some value from a collecting and investing point of view. But for now, I just say it's not the right timing to sell on Patrick Laine. You're not going to get your money back. And then Braden Point. Braden Point is a pretty good player from that year too. And Sebastian Aho that we just saw, Thatcher Demko, Thomas Chabot in Ottawa, but these are a little bit more speculative, I'd say. Barzal, Kyle Connor, really underrated, not necessarily in the NHL, but in the hobby, I feel. I don't know if it's because he's playing in Winnipeg, up north, here in Canada, but really good goal scorer. We don't see a lot of his cards in that price range. So who else we've got? William Nylander. So that would be the third Leaf to collect. Still around $60 for his young guns. Then you've got Laine once again, Genzel, Laine. So that's more in the proper price range for Patrick Laine. Braden Point. So that's pretty good deal, especially now. He's like 12 goals in the playoffs as I'm recording this. He's been a beast with Tampa. Does he get another cup? We'll see about that. Sebastian Aho now in that price range around the $50 mark. And you've got also Matt Tkachuk in Calgary. That is another interesting player along with Jake Genzel. So pretty interesting year for the Leafs. All right, moving on to 17-18. Who do we got this year? I'd say it's a bit more limited. As you can see, there's a lot of exclusives and auto buyback. I think the best one is Alex DeBrincat and Brock Besser from that season, but it's in the $60, $70 range. You've got Charlie McAvoy, Martin Necas also. Nico Hischier also, if he can get it rolling, spent most of last season injured, so hopefully he comes back. All right, moving on to 2018-19 season. The best young guns would be Elias Pettersson, as you can see, close to $200, more in the 160 200 range. Elias in Vancouver, pretty good center. And there's still some interesting prices that you can get around 130, 125. No, that's not the same. 130. Pretty good deals. And then Carter Hart probably would be a decent investment at this point. Carter Hart in Philly had a bit of a rough season, but he's still pretty young for a goaltender. A lot of room to grow. Andrei Svechnikov will be one of the best ones. You've got Kotkaniemi in Montreal. He's not quite there, but being on a really popular team, if he really has a breakout season next season, could be a good candidate for a price surge. So Svechnikov, yep, Kotkaniemi in this price range around the $60, $75 mark. You can see here. And fun fact, maybe you saw it when I was scrolling. There's an actual card, Young Gun card of Gritty, the Flyers mascot, that is hiding out here. That's the gold version here. Still $100. So really interesting card. A nice addition to your collection. That is for sure. All right. What do we have next? 1920, going over the buybacks. That's really the year of the Hughes brothers. So Jack Hughes, Quinn Hughes, and gonna go quickly over all these special cards that are not really fitting my search term. If I made some mistake, I don't think so. All right, eBay is having some fun right now, but yeah, there you go. Quinn Hughes. What do we have? Cali Makar. So Cali Makar, I think, would be one of the best to collect during that season. As you can see, the raw card is all the way up there at 180. So that's pretty good, and that's for a defenseman. So that's interesting with my whole theory about the defenseman. Are his cards going to continue going up, or going to stay quite the same, or go down year after year because he's a defenseman? We'll see, but he's a pretty dynamic one and really interesting player to watch and follow. That's really your top guy. You've got Nick Suzuki also, Kirby Dach that we saw earlier, and then the Hughes brother. You've got also Igor Shesterkin around $100, $120. So a new goaltender in New York with the Rangers. He'll be an interesting one to follow. So the here of Lundqvist, Jack Hughes, Nick Suzuki. All right. And the current season 2020-21, Kirill Kaprizov in Minnesota is really the young guy to go for. Now you see all his exclusive Young Gun clear cut. So it really depends how you put your keywords filter, because see, I had exclusives and there's a misspell here. I see all this noise, the clear cut version, the French version. All right. But if I eventually get to the standard Young Guns, that would be, man, there's so many clear cuts. So kind of hard to get the actual standard Young Gun. Yeah, that would be, no, that's the oversized. So that's really someone that overpaid for an oversize right there. This guy is going to be, he's going to get a nice surprise in the mail. I talked about it in the in my Modern Hockey Collecting 101 video, and you've really got to be careful. I'm looking forward to standard Young Gun because all I'm seeing are, you know, French variation, rare variation, clear cut, acetate, all that stuff, and that oversized, it's really not in the same class, and that guy paid $357 US. Anyways, all right, so moving down. All right, so I think that's about in this range here. So in the $300, $200 right there. There's also Tim Stutzle, if I'm pronouncing this correctly, in Ottawa. These guys would be probably the best two. You're gonna ask about Alexis Lafrenière, right? He was the #1 pick last draft, picked by the New York Rangers, but didn't really have the amazing season that probably some people were expecting, or at least hoping for. I know right here in Quebec where I live, there was quite the hype, and a lot of boxes were sold. A lot of people were happy to see that the kid was going to be in Series 1. Maybe I'll see it, but as you can see, there you go. So 250, best offer accepted. So we're going to start seeing him popping soon. So 200 US here, 200s. I think he wasn't really put in a role where he was expected to score a lot. Not the same as Kaprizov, for instance. Stützle was a bit of a surprise coming in early this season and really doing some damage in Ottawa. So Lafrenière did not had the same kind of season, but I think he's still a pretty good guy to invest in at this point, especially right now. He's had a down first year, so it might be a low point to get in on the ground floor, as we say. And as you can see, it's really Kaprizov that is dominating the search results. So whether it's the regular Young Guns and the canvas version, all in that 200-ish range, with Stützle also in there. So yeah, that's it. I think that wraps up, and just a little preview for next year. So we don't know a lot about what's going on for next season, but there is one guy that we know for sure that is going to have his Young Gun coming out next season, and that's actually the guy that Upper Deck used for their preview, and it's this guy here, Cole Caulfield. He's having a pretty good playoff run with Montreal. Once again, I think the team factor is going to be quite something for him too. A lot of people see him winning the Calder Trophy next season. We'll see, but I mean, the guy definitely has some talent, and I think he's going to be one of the big pulls for next season's Young Guns. So that was it, guys. I hope you liked it. As usual, if you enjoyed the content, please like and subscribe to the video. Had some question in the comments. Let's start a discussion over there. I'm gonna get there and answer back to you, of course. Also, I'm going to put a link in the description below where you can find a document that will recap all this video. So for each year, the top tier and the different rookies available for that year, and that's going to be available to you for free. So check it out, download it, and well, have fun. So I hope you liked it. I wish you a good day. Stay safe. See you later.